Good morning. So today we're going to start with our new module, energy systems. So energy systems is a simple module wherein we're going to discuss chemical fuels, water fuels, and calorific value of the fuels. So we're going to discuss the classification of fuels over here and also the definition of the fuels and how to determine the calorific value of the given fuel. Okay. So let us start. So what are fuels? Can you define a fuel? Can you call this as a fuel? Can you call a pen as a fuel? Can you call a headset as a fuel? There is something a fuel can be defined as. Is that it? So chemical fuels are substance which contains carbon and hydrogen as its main constituents and produces significant amount of energy. Produces what? Significant amount of heat and light energy. So such type of substances are called as chemical fuels. So what are fuels? We can either call. So when we ignite this, even the shirt will burn. If we ignite human being will burn. Right? If we ignite any cloth, cloth will burn. Mobile will ignite, right? So you cannot call any of these as fuels. So the fuels are the substances especially which contains carbon and hydrogen as its main constituents and produces significant amount of heat and light. So such type of substances are called as what such type of substances are called as chemical fuels. So the reaction which occurs here is, so if the fuel contains carbon and hydrogen as its main constituents, so carbon undergoes combustion in presence of oxygen to give you carbon dioxide, whereas hydrogen undergoes combustion in presence of oxygen to give you water. So whatever energy is hidden inside the fuel will be liberated in the form of energy. So energy might be heat energy or energy might be light energy. So energy might be any form. Okay. So the hidden, which the chemical energy is hidden inside the fuel will be liberated. It may be liberated as light energy or it may be liberated as heat energy. So the carbon undergoes combustion to give carbon dioxide, hydrogen undergoes combustion to give you water, and energy will be liberated. So the energy might be light or heat. So example for the fuels are your wood, coal, charcoal, petrol, diesel, kerosene, name anything. So all this, so wood contains carbon, hydrogen as its main constituents, that is dry wood, not your wet wood. So coal, once again it contains carbon and hydrogen. Charcoal, once again contains only carbon and little amount of hydrogen. So your petrol, diesel, kerosene, fossil fuels, these are straight chain hydrocarbons which contains only carbon and hydrogen, little amount of nitrogen and oxygen. Right. So all these are example for chemical fuels. So now let us see how fuels are classified. So fuels are classified mainly depend upon two things. So fuels are classified based on physical state and fuels are classified based on occurrence. So physical state means what? How they appear, isn't it? So depending upon the appearance, we classify few things, whether it is big or short, tall or short, right? Big or small. So we can depending upon the appearance, right? Large. I'm just giving an example of the objects. All these things are classified depending upon depending upon their physical state or depending upon the appearance. So similarly, the solids, fuels are also classified depending on the physical state. So they are solids, liquids, and gaseous states. So how they appear? So if the fuels are in the form of solids, they are called as solid fuels. If fuels are in the form of liquids, they are called liquid fuels, and fuels are in the form of gaseous state, they are called as gaseous fuels. So solid fuels. So what are solid fuels? So example for a solid fuels, all your example is your wood, coal, peat, ignite, all are solid fuels. Liquid fuels, your petrol, diesel, kerosene, all are liquid fuels. So gaseous fuels, your LPG, your natural gas, so all these are gaseous fuels. So what is natural gas? So you know that when you dig a well, that is a petroleum well. So how do you obtain your fossil fuels? Your petrol, diesel, kerosene. Under the what ocean you dig a well, so from that you get your crude petroleum oil. So this crude petroleum oil, you're going to subject to fractional distillation column. From there you get petrol, diesel, kerosene. So before you get the gaseous, this crude petroleum oil, the gas will come out, right? So that gas is called as natural gas. So this gas, it can also be used as a fuel. So that gas, once again, it will be purified. Okay, it will be compressed and used. It is called as compressed natural gas. It is called as what? Compressed natural gas. It is CNG. It is CNG. So these race fuels are further classified into depending on physical state and occurrence. So physical state we have seen. Let us see depending on occurrence how fuels are classified. So based on occurrence, where they occur, fuels are classified into primary fuels and secondary fuels. So what are primary fuels? Primary fuels, all naturally occurring fuels. All naturally occurring fuels are called as primary fuels. So what are naturally occurring? So irrespective of the state, it might be a solid fuel or a liquid fuel or a gaseous fuel. So all those which occur naturally comes under this category. Okay, so wood occurs naturally, right? So coal occurs naturally, your natural gas occurs naturally, crude petroleum oil occurs naturally. So all these comes under this category primary fuels. What are secondary fuels? Next we have secondary fuels. So any fuels, any substance, if it is used after subjecting it to some chemical process, then it is called as a chemical fuel. Secondary fuel. So any substance which is used as a fuel after subjecting it to some chemical process, it is called as a secondary fuel. So for example, charcoal. So how do you get charcoal? You're going to burn the wood. So wood undergoes incomplete combustion. So if wood undergoes incomplete combustion, what do you get? You get charcoal, isn't it? So that charcoal is also used as fuel. Where is it used as fuel? For pressing clothes, right? So earlier, before your iron boxes came into existence, they used charcoal as a fuel. So next, gaseous in your liquid fuel, petrol, diesel, kerosene. So crude petroleum oil is subjected to, crude petroleum oil as such cannot be used as a fuel, right? So crude petroleum oil is subjected to a process called as fractional distillation. So we're going to send the entire thing to a fractional distillation column, where depending upon temperature, petrol, diesel, kerosene will separate out. Okay, so petrol, diesel, kerosene separates out. So petrol is used in petrol IC engines, diesel is used in again automobiles, kerosene once again is used as a fuel. So how do you get petrol diesel engine? After subjecting it to a process called as fractional distillation, isn't it? Therefore it is a secondary fuel. Next, gas. What is the example for gas? Your CNG. What is CNG? Compressed natural gas. So natural gas, I told you how do you obtain natural gas, right? So this natural gas contains some impurities. So natural gas, once again, all this methane, butane, ethane itself, right? So we're going to compress it. So after compressing it and you're purify it, compress it and then sell, it is called as compressed natural gas. It is CNG. It is not used as much as LPG is used, but still CNG is a secondary fuel. You have your biogas, you have your gobar gas. So all these are secondary fuels. Got it? So fuels are classified based on two categories, that is on physical state and on occurrence. So physical state we have solid, liquid and gaseous. Based on occurrence we have primary and secondary fuels. So now we have fuels. We are supposed to know how much amount of energy is liberated from that particular fuel, right? So how will we know? There is a parameter which measures how much amount of energy is liberated from each fuel. That is called as calorific value. So we'll see that, we will discuss that. So here let us see how the fuel is classified. So fuels are classified into primary fuels, that is, example we have solid. For solids we have wood and peat. For liquid we have crude oil. Again for gaseous we have natural gas. All these are primary. For secondary fuels we have, for solid we have coke and charcoal. For liquid we have petrol and LPG. For gas once again coal gas and water gas. So what is calorific value? the amount of heat liberated when unit mass of fuel is completely burnt in excess of air or oxygen is called as calorific value. So what do you mean by that? So why you are using your unit mass? Because it might be 1 gram or 1 milligram, right? So because of that it is called as unit mass. So fuel is burnt completely. So when the fuel is burnt completely, only then we get, when the fuel is burnt completely, so only then we get what? Only when the fuel is burnt completely, only then your this one will be liberated, energy will be liberated. When the fuel is burnt completely, only then the whatever chemical energy is hidden, it will be converted into light energy or heat energy. So when the fuel undergoes combustion, so whatever energy is there, right, chemical energy is hidden, it will be converted into light energy or heat energy. So for that you're supposed to supply oxygen. So how much oxygen should be supplied, we don't know. So we're going to supply excess oxygen. So how much ever oxygen is required for the fuel to undergo combustion, it will be used and remaining will be let off. Okay, so we have two types of fuels. So those are two types we have, those, that is GCV and NCV. So GCV is gross calorific value, NCV is net calorific value. So gross calorific value, it is defined as amount of heat liberated when a unit mass of fuel is completely burnt in excess of air or oxygen and the products of combustion are let off into the atmosphere. Okay, so what are the products? So we have the products here. The products here we have, the products are the products here. The products here we have, that is carbon plus hydrogen will give you carbon dioxide and water, isn't it? So the products are cool to temperature. So here carbon dioxide cannot be cooled to room temperature. So the product water will be cooled. So water is in gaseous form, it will be cooled to water liquid. So when it is cooled to water liquid, what happens? 587 calories of heat will be liberated. How much amount of heat will be liberated? 587 calories of heat will be liberated. So that heat also will be considered. So what is gross calorific value? Amount of heat liberated when a unit mass of fuel is completely burnt in excess of air or oxygen and the products are cooled to room temperature. So what are the products here? So the product is CO2 and water. So CO2 will escape into the atmosphere, whereas water is in gaseous form, it will be cooled to room temperature. When water condenses, it forms water liquid. It is forming water liquid, it liberates 587 calories of heat. So GCV includes even this 587 calories of heat also in that. So NCV. So what is NCV? Net calorific value. It is the amount of heat liberated when a unit mass of fuel is completely burnt in in excess of air or oxygen and products are let off into the atmosphere. Both carbon dioxide and water will be let off into the atmosphere. So whatever energy is liberated with this, we're interested only with this. So it contains only this energy, not the energy liberated by water. Okay, so when you burn a fuel, we get carbon dioxide, water and energy. So NCV gives only the energy liberated. The chemical energy is converted into light energy or heat energy. Only that energy you are going to take into consideration and not heat obtained by cooling the water vapor to water liquid. Okay, so thank you. So in our next discussion, we'll see how to determine calorific value of a fuel using Bohm calorimeter. Thank you.